Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to Geek Colorado today. I am here with Dan Crosier, and we are about to talk about the 10th anniversary of his film,
Isolation Man.
Woohoo! So, 10 years since this film came out. Was this one of your first productions you did because you were the producer on it?
I was a producer, co-director, and star.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, for this film, what do you think has been the best things or worst things that's aged about this film since it's been 10 years now?
Oh, gosh. Well, if you've seen the film, I think it's become something of a harbinger of our political climate. Initially, I wanted to create a superhero character, and I did in the comic book that it's originally based off of, The Exquisite Vanished Tear. I wanted to create a comic book or a superhero character that was just a horrible human being, just terrible. And at the time, you know, the height of superhero pop culture was, you know, Marvel was in its fledgling years, and Iron Man was very successful. The darkest thing we had on the big screen was the Watchmen movie and The Dark Knight.
Yep.
And you know, kids were just, you know, loving all of it and stuff, and I love it too, and I love it back then. I still love it now. But I was like, yeah, I want to, you know, create something, you know, kind of, you know, silly and dark and gritty, but also very comedic and over the top, and it's, you know, behavior that should be ridiculed. So that's how I created the comic book, and I did it in a weekend, and I don't recommend doing that. It was an exercise, and
You're also an artist, so that's why he has these skills to be able to create a comic book as well.
Yes, thank you. I did it in a weekend, and the premise for The Exquisite Vanished Tear, the Vanished Tear is a horrible human being. He's very arrogant, very conceited, very dim-witted, and thinks the world owes him everything. And he has a very bad day and accidentally makes the human population of the Western Hemisphere vanish. So after that, it's like, oh, what should the follow-up be? And I had an idea of like wouldn't it be interesting to do a mockumentary? And at the time, I was a big fan of like political essayists like Michael Moore, and how he was able to do, you know, his documentaries. And Werner Herzog, you know, Grizzly Man was you know, great. But I wanted to make sure it was like absolutely silly, you know, stupid, and you know, I thought, you know,
kind of make fun of this superhero genre in a way.
Yes, very deconstructive, and you know, also a great excuse not to have a cast. So nice limited cast, and you know, the premise was, oh no, all these people are vanished. Well, the Eastern Hemisphere is going to notice, you know. So they send over investigators, other documentary filmmakers, instead of the military. Anyway, holes, right?
Hey, that could always be for an expanded one or part two.
Yeah. So they you know, they come over and they're, you know, trying to figure out what happens, you know, and they come across the sad sack of a person, the Vanished Tear, who's literally cleaning his underwear in the South Platte River. Because
the water doesn't work because there's no one to run the plants now.
Exactly. So there's nobody there to take care of him, as he would look at it. In there, they, you know, it becomes like this character piece, you know, trying to get at the, you know, the depth of this guy, and, you know, it's like, what could have caused all this? How is he so dangerous and everything, and you know, his motivations and stuff. And I mean, there's really no depth to him. He's very shallow and still very arrogant, you know, despite being so pathetic.
Yeah.
So
oddly enough, I see this kind of fitting into like also the boys now that we have. And the same kind of thing of it, looking at that of more of, you know, like what happens when one of these superheroes does go off the rails, you know.
Totally. I would argue that the Vanished Tear is taking it one more step further
to the next level,
than Homelander. He actually made you know, billions of people go away. Yeah. Granted, you know, the setup is it's an accident, but still.
Can he reverse it?
No, he can't.
So
unfortunately,
it's irreversible.
It's irreversible. It is.
So
it's a done.
Definitely
thing.
worse than Homelander.
Yeah, definitely worse than Homelander. So, you know, back when I did the comic, I was vaguely aware of, you know, Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson's, you know, The Boys. Comic book series. So, you know, the TV series wasn't even a thing. So it didn't have necessarily as large of the fan base that it does now. But fans of it may go back and look at your film now and be like, whoa, this is kind of, you know, on the same premises. So we shot the film back in 2011. And, you know, I shot it with, you know, my co-director, Dean Bernhardt. He was tremendous, and then our producer partner Norman Dillon, and our production team Stefan Santa Cruz and Jose Medina, and we had a number of you know, local actors like Alan Elijah Cutler and Little Fyodor, who's a local you know, art rock, punk rock icon. You know, and he goes back all the way from the '80s. He's still performing too. It just anytime I get to work with him. It's great. And then, you know, a number of other actors like Joey Armstrong and the comedian Dick Black and Seth Williams. And then some of my old troupe from the OFM days, where we would get dressed up in big latex monster outfits and shoot blood everywhere. You know, like Will Vest and Jeremy Atkins and Troy Bernal. And Seth, I think, was also a part of that too. So yeah, we had a blast, and we did shoot this like just as I was coming off of that performance group. We ended that run in 2011, shot it then, but we weren't able to get it to the finish line in post production until I met up with my partner Peter Dougherty to re-edit the project and make it, you know, feel pretty viable, because back then we didn't know what we were doing. The whole budget was like $400.
That's impressive.
And all it was pretty much me spending money to feed people. You know, it was usually early morning shoots, so it was a lot of breakfast and stuff. And
you got to keep your actors happy. If you're in the production business, you got to keep the actors happy, get them fed.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, it was a good time. It was just a great excuse to get a bunch of friends together and do a creative project, and that's usually how I hang out with people. Is like, hey, what are you doing? Well, let's make a thing. You know. So that's kind of the thing. But 2016 we did a couple screenings at Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton. They were, you know, back then, when they actually worked with local filmmakers and artists
before they got too big.
But before they sold out to Sony, you know. It's like, no, I get it. You know, it's always a money thing. But yeah, it was great people back then. It was a great location. We did a couple screenings, and then after that, you know, tried to enter it into film festivals. 100% rejection.
Ow!
Yeah. So, I reached out to like Troma, you know, Lloyd Kaufman, and, you know, shot him a link to the film, and I didn't hear anything back right away. And then, you know, we had on another venture, we had started Colorado Festival of Horror,
which we've covered that con, and Dan is one of the founding people of it.
Thank you. And we were in touch with Lloyd and his people about coming out as a guest, and I think he probably you know, found the old email and was like, oh yeah, no, we'd love to carry the movie. So it is available on streaming right now on Troma Now, on their streaming platform, you know, right next to like the Toxic Avenger movies and you know, Sergeant Kabuki Man and you know, Cannibal the Musical is I think is on there too. You know, from Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
So a whole bunch of great classic movies that you can find there, and then yours is among greats.
Mine is among there. Yeah.
So I don't know about the rules for all these different showings. Have you tried to re-enter it now that it's a little bit older, or is it past the time frame when you could still try to get into some festivals or anything?
I don't know that it's still a pretty obscure film. I don't know that it even has a fan base. Other than some of the friends that I tried to draw.
Well, I'm just thinking now that since the Boys have come out now, maybe people would understand the concept more.
Maybe.
And then think, oh, well, we should have been paying attention to this.
Yeah, perhaps. I haven't really investigated this. I just realized like months ago, it's like, oh no, the 10 years are coming up on this thing. It's like, I think it deserves its day. In the sun.
And you do have a celebration coming up on July 15th. I'll include the link for anyone watching this. So if you want to buy tickets, you can still buy tickets. It is happening. Yep. And tell us about the event.
We'll be doing the 10th anniversary screening at the Creepatorium. As you said, July 15th. I believe doors are at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock screening. There'll be a little bit of a Q&A. Some of the old cast members will be, we'll be getting together and doing a little Q&A and talking about the film. I'm gonna have free copies of the Exquisite Vanish Tear available, and then at Creepatorium too, there is a bar. It is 21 and up. They also have a fantastic, cafe, Screamin' Sugar, and the Horrid, shop too.
Gift shop. And if you don't know about that, it's an amazing little horror themed gift shop here in Colorado. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, you can check it out. While you're going to this event. I know I'm going to be hitting them up before. So
yes, it's such a great shop, and it's all female run too. It's what a great thing to be able to support here in Denver, and for the horror community too.
Yeah.
So granted, Isolation Man really isn't a horror.
What a way! It's horror because everyone goes away.
Everybody. I have a much larger. Vanish Tear has a much larger kill count than any Michael Myers or Jason movie.
Or any other superhero for the most part.
That's true. Yeah. That's very sad. Except maybe some of the Final Crisis. Comic books.
Or Thanos, who killed off, half of the population of the whole galaxy. Marvel, but Thanos is only the one.
Marvel has one up on
But that was technically a villain and not a superhero, so.
That's true. Well.
We're such nerds.
At the same time, the Vanished Tear calls himself a superhero, but is he really?
Yeah, what has he done?
Yeah. There's. I don't even think there's anything in the comic book that says he's done positively.
Yeah, and I know he's called Isolation Man, and to me, in a way, he kind of created his own horror story. Like you were talking about, he was having to take care of himself.
Right.
Think about in that world that you'd be in, where there's literally no one to run anything. I'm thinking about nuclear power plants shutting down, maybe going active, just what that would be. So he kind of did create his own possible horror story. As it progressed.
He made his bed and he has to lie in it, and so it'll be interesting to see what you guys think of the film and see him actually hopefully get some kind of retribution, because I think in this case it's very well justified.
True.
Yeah. So cool.
So everyone, don't forget to check out Isolation Man. You can either catch it streaming, or if you're here in town, come to the 10th anniversary show. Thanks, everyone. And where can they find you on social media?
I am all over. You can Google me and be able to find me. But on Instagram, my handle is Daniel_Crosier. And then we do have some of the kids comics. I do kids comics.
You're an all-around artist. You can handle it all.
With my girlfriend and partner, Elisa Sargent. You can go to that website, WhenBakedThingsAttack.com.
Yeah, I was going to say, also, let's really quick go into that. How are you where are you in the stages of that? I know it's been a work in progress.
With the film, it's kind of on the back burners. We're focusing on some short film projects.
Okay.
Elisa is working on more of the comic book side right now. So she's got 2 2 through 5, I think, written out.
Okay.
And she was able to join up with Larissa Hughes, who was the illustrator of the first comic book for When Big Things Attack. And so they're working on those. And I just finished illustrating Stanley Kaiju #2 that Elisa wrote. And then we've got another children's book that is finally, coming together and should be seeing the light of day pretty soon with some of our production team, Kevin Waltz and Leighton Buxman. And it's called Otter Bats Really Do Exist. And trust me, they really do. Just imagine.
That sounds like so cute. Like I can't wait to actually see the drawings of this.
Yeah, cute little sea otters with bat wings just flying around, holding hands.
Okay, I'm not really usually big on the kids stuff, but I think I'm gonna have to find this.
It's adorable. It's absolutely cute. We put out our first kids book last year. The Earl of Elm and the Countess of Conifer. Two anthropomorphic trees having a night out in the town with their pet mushrooms. It was really cool. Yeah, it was such a fun thing to do. And Elisa's also writing a third one too, so I can't say anything about that.
So that one's still under lock and key.
That one's definitely under lock and key. Yeah, till she's got a script and I got some art to put to it. Yeah.
All right. So keep your guys' lookout for When Big Things Attack. I know this is one I've been personally because you've had little booths and stuff at Horror Festival Horror. So I'm kind of excited for when that one comes out, and hopefully we'll be able to interview you again when that one is, so that we can talk about that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, thank you for tuning in, and as always, please like and follow. Bye.
Ciao.